Shalom, this is the ISUPK Wednesday Law Class. Also remember, check out Commanding Johnny Yohana's radio show, which is Monday, 2 a.m. There's also one Saturday, 2 a.m. Today we're going to go into the origins of Easter. We're also going to go into a bit about the Passover. So we're going to start off in the book of Exodus, the 12th chapter. So we're going to start from Exodus, the 12th chapter. Then we're going to go into Easter and its pagan origins and how it came associated with Jesus Christ and all of these things. So all of that comes from Constantine converting from paganism to Christianity and keeping a lot of the customs. And that was one of the customs he kept. And they wanted it around the springtime because then that linked up with when they would celebrate Ishtar and all of those things whose name was later changed to Easter. So we'll get to that a bit later on. But we're going to start off in Exodus, the 12th chapter. All right, so let me get Exodus to 12th chapter. All right, so in the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 1, the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 1, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. So now he gave them a beginning of months. The Lord was giving us what we must consider our first month, because what you'll find is with the heathens, they start their year in the dead of winter. Our new year was to start in spring, and now the Lord's given us everything that we had lost. Because before Moses and in the time of Adam, the law was given to them orally. It was just passed down from father to son, and then over time it was in Egypt for 400 years. So we lost all of those things. So now the Lord's given us the law on paper. So let's read on. Shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. So now, you will take a lamb, and what was this lamb? We was gonna kill this lamb, and you was put the blood on your doorposts, and that way the angel of death would pass over. It would see that blood and pass over that house. Hold on, let's read on. And that's just very important to follow orders, man, because this was an order. The order is what? You killed the lamb and you put the blood on the on the doorpost. You don't put that blood on the doorpost, you're gonna die, man. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of. Give me 1 second. So I can say that again. Nah, it's meant to be. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, where was we? Let's get back to Exodus, the 12th chapter. It says, and if the household be too little, meaning what? If you've got a small family and then there's going to be leftover lamb, you invite somebody else who's got a small family. That right there is brotherhood. If you can't afford, if a family can't afford it and they've got a small family and you've got more than enough, invite that person around, man. Let them be in your house and celebrate the Passover with you. That's what that was. Let them eat the Passover with you. Like, there's no point you be having a family of 2 and you got a whole lamb. You don't need a whole lamb if it's just a family of 2. You invite other families who are less fortunate, man. Help your neighbors out, help your brothers out. Let's read on. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish. So now, you'd have to get a lamb without blemish, a lamb with no injuries, a lamb with no broken legs, a lamb with no disabilities or nothing. It'd have to be a lamb without blemish, a perfect lamb, a male of the first year, which means this is a young lamb of the first year, man. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. So now, you would keep this, you would take it from the sheep and the goats, and you would separate it, and you would keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it. It says the whole assembly. And this is why we do what? We do the lamb slaughter, man. We do the lamb slaughter. Now, is that a sacrifice? No, but we do the lamb slaughter, rehearsing righteous acts, man. Rehearsing how our fathers would have killed the lamb back in that time. So that's why we do the lamb slaughter. The lamb slaughter is not no sacrifice where like what people seem to think. People seem to think we don't believe in Christ and we're still sacrificing lambs. It's not that, man. We don't sacrifice. What we do is we kill that lamb and just eat it, man. And we just rehearse righteous acts. Give me Judges chapter 5 and verse 11. That's what we do in here. We rehearse righteous acts, man. Because once we're in the kingdom, we're going to be doing all of these things. So we're rehearsing these acts. So when we're there, we know exactly what we're doing, man.
This is Judges chapter 5 and verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing water, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts.
And this is the place where delivered from the noise of archers in the place of drawing water, man. Here we're rehearsing righteous acts.
That's right.
The acts that we were supposed to do in Jerusalem, we're rehearsing them right here. People come with all this nonsense. Oh, you can't keep the Passover if you're not in the land. You can't keep the Passover if you're not in your land. What we're going to see right here is the Israelites right here. They kept the Passover in Egypt, man.
Right.
The first ever Passover was kept in Egypt. Where do you think we was leaving from, man? We ate it with our staff and all of those. First Passover was kept in Egypt. That's lucky because I'll put on the box for me. Also, any questions, just type them in the chat and we'll get to them. Hey, Shalom, also Lord and Christ.
Shalom, Lord and Christ, sir.
So we kept the Passover in. I can hear it. Marcel, you got your. I believe your sound might be too quick. Was it echoing? Oh, it sounds like you're playing us on 2 devices.
I'm trying to log into one and the other one. Flicking, me, I don't get that. Can you hear me clear now?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, but while it is with us, I can hear myself echoing in the background.
Only on one device. Oh, okay. Let's see what's going on here. Let me log out of this one or something.
All right, no, sir. I'll just keep reading for the meantime. Actually, quite as I get me Exodus 12 and verse 6.
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 6. And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month.
And you'll keep it to the 14th day of the same month. And this, it said, this is going to be our first month. So the Lord ran it down to Moses and Aaron. This is our first month. And that's the month that we're in right now. We just had our Passover, Saturday gone, man. Our Passover was Saturday gone, and it was glorious, man.
That's right.
The garments, the sisters in the dresses, the headpieces, the boots, everything was glorious, man.
Right.
The lamb, the unleavened bread, the wine, the grape juice, everything was glorious, man. All the children saluting, everything. Listen, we just had our Passover. It was glorious, man. And we in the land, and we rehearsed these righteous acts right here, man. The brotherhood was on 100. Brothers was coupled up, sharing rooms, the whole lot, man, to bring the price down. That's the spirit of brotherhood, man. Go ahead.
Up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
And the whole assembly would kill it. So we do the lamb slaughter to replicate this, man. but we ain't sacrificing the lamb. What we do is we eat the lamb, we buy the lamb, cut it all up and take it home, man. And we eat the lamb. We put the lamb on the grill, man. That's what we do. This ain't no sacrifice like you like try to lie. We believe in Christ more than any of you do, man. We do everything Christ said to do. It shows we believe in him way more than you do, man. All these people trying to say we don't believe. Listen, we teach Christ way more than you. So we show that Christ still lives today based on our actions, man. We follow the message of Christ that you read on paper. We take it off the paper and live it, man. That's the difference. We live the message that you're reading, man. And most people hate us for it. That's luck is still echoing, you know, also.
I only have one device. I don't know what's going on then.
See, turn your speaker down a little bit.
Kind of one car.
Your speaker might be too loud.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. Well, it is hold on, wait a minute. Take your speaker off mute. Let me see if I can hear myself. Let me see if I can hear myself. Yeah, I still can hear myself.
Well, I only have one device, so I don't know what this is.
Is it? Have you turned it down a bit?
Is that better?
It sounds like you got two devices. Sounds like you got two devices.
No, I'm on one device.
Is the laptop still on or you turned it off?
My laptop is off.
It's off.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's echoing. You know what? You might have to mute. You might have to mute that until it's time to read or something. Yeah. All right. For what? Go ahead. Put us on.
And they shall take the blood, and they shall take up the blood and strike it on the two side posts.
And it says, they shall take the blood and strike it on the two side posts. So you'd put this blood on your door, you'd kill the lamb, and obviously what's inside of a lamb? Blood. So you'd take that blood, and that blood will be put on your doorpost. Now, the Egyptians seeing you do that, they'll think you're crazy. Why is he putting blood on his door? All these other nations think we're crazy because of the things that we do. They would have thought Noah was crazy when Noah was building an ark. They would have thought, damn, it's not raining. This man's building an ark. They would have thought, why are these like taking lamb's blood and putting it on their doors? To them, that would have been crazy. So don't be surprised if people think what we do today is crazy, man. The thing is, we know something that they don't, man. No one knew the Lord was going to flood the earth and he was going to be saved by an ark. These Israelites knew the Lord was going to kill the Egyptians and they was going to be saved by this blood. And we know that Jesus Christ is coming back and we're going on them chariots, man. They see us in the corner and just think, yeah, these lot are crazy and they don't know what they're talking about. Everything we do, there's a reason for it, man. And if you're not paying attention, you won't know. You're going to be ignorant like the peoples in Noah's time until the flood came. You're going to be like them Egyptians who was ignorant until what? The angels passed over our house and started killing the Egyptians. Go ahead.
And on the upper doorposts of the houses.
And on the upper doorpost, so you got the two side posts and the upper doorpost, which should be the one that goes across. Go ahead.
Wherein they shall eat it.
And now in that house, you would eat this lamb. So you'd put the blood on the doorpost, and in this house, this lamb, you would eat it. Go ahead.
And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire. And
now you would roast that lamb. That lamb would be roasted with fire. Go ahead.
And unleavened bread.
And you would have unleavened bread. And unleavened bread is what the feast that we're in right now. Right. So we're in the feast of unleavened bread. Unleavened bread is bread with no yeast, no raisin agents, no, none of those stuff. None of those things which makes bread rise, which makes anything rise. So you can't be eating chicken nuggets. Why? Because it has breadcrumbs on which has yeast on it. Right. You can't be eating Big Macs. Why? Because the bread has yeast in it. Certain tortilla wraps, the bread has yeast in it. It's disguised under the name raisin agents, and raisin agents causes things to rise. Things like raisin flour, baking powder, all of those things cause things to rise. Obviously, you can't be eating stuff with those in. Go ahead.
And with bitter herbs.
And with what?
And with bitter herbs.
And you would have it with bitter herbs. Now, most people think bitter herbs is, I hear people call them bitter herbs, what, horseradish or whatever. The bitter herbs is the seasoning, man. So the lamb would have seasoning on it. The bitter herbs for the lamb is the seasoning.
Right.
People read this and think you have the lamb here and the bitter herbs separate. The bitter herbs is what you cook the lamb with.
That's right.
It's like me saying lamb with rosemary. It don't mean I have rosemary on the side. It means I put the rosemary on the lamb. It's like me saying I'm having chicken with barbecue seasoning.
Sweet and sour.
It's like me saying that I'm having chicken with barbecue seasoning. That means I season the chicken with the barbecue seasoning. It don't mean I have a plate of barbecue seasoning and the chicken separate. If you're a fake Israelite, you need to come to ISUPK so you can learn that. Go ahead, Marcel. Let me see if I can hear. Hold on. Say something. Turn your mic up. You're sounding real quiet. Your mic is on mute, Marcel. Your mic is on mute.
That's off.
Turn that one up there, quite as it might be this one. Hold on, give me 1 second. We're going to turn those up. Say something, Marcel.
Other one can.
Yes, say something else. Let me see if I can hear.
Mic check.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Most High Christ, it's working now. Go ahead, Quatzal. What verse you at?
Verse 8.
Go ahead.
And with bitter herbs.
And the bitter herbs is the seasoning. So you would season up that lamb, and then you would roast it. So you'd roast the lamb. You see where they put the stick through the lamb, and it's spinning on the turn fire. That's how you would cook the lamb. This lamb wasn't meant to be boiled or sodden. Sodden's another word for boiled. This lamb was meant to be roasted. Go ahead.
Eat not of it raw.
And do what?
Eat not of it raw.
And don't eat of it raw, man. Because some people eat the lamb raw where it's not cooked properly. This lamb needs to be cooked properly, man. Don't eat of it raw. Go ahead.
It's a rock here. No sodden at all with water,
No sodden with water, meaning what? Don't boil it. Go ahead.
but roast with fire his head with his legs and with the pertinence thereof.
And I'm sure the pertinence is the insides and all of those things. So it's saying roast this lamb whole with its head, its legs, its pertinence. Roast this lamb whole. Go ahead.
And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning.
And now you're not meant to let nothing of it remain until the morning. So you're supposed to eat it. And then whatever you can't eat, then you was meant to get rid of. Go ahead.
And that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire.
And that which remains till the morning, you wouldn't eat it again, you would burn it with fire. Now, people read this precept and think this means if you cook chicken, you can't eat it tomorrow. It's not talking about that. This was more for like these is sacrifices. So there's some scriptures where it says the sacrifices, you can't leave them for tomorrow, whatever. Now, the food that you have at home, that's not a sacrifice, that's just food. So yeah, you can take that chicken to work tomorrow. You can take that chicken to work the next day. This was more so for the sacrifices. So that's the difference. Go ahead.
And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded.
And what?
And thus ye shall eat it with your loins girded.
So you would have on your war belt. You'd have your loins girded. Go ahead.
Your shoes on your feet.
You'd have your boots on, your shoes, because you're ready to go. Because once these Egyptians drop dead, they're going to be coming to get you, man. So you had to be ready. You can't be in bed in your pajamas. Don't think you're going to eat and get the itis where you say, you know what, I'm going to go lie down. Nah, man, there's no time to lie down, man. You sit up with your loins girded, with your stuff ready to go. Go ahead.
And your staff in your hand.
And you what?
And your staff in your hand.
And your stuff in your hand. You would have your stuff in your hand, man, ready to go. Go ahead.
And you shall eat it in haste.
And you would eat it in a hurry. Why? Because the Lord's about to go to where these Egyptians are going to die, and it's time for you to leave that land. So you would eat it in haste. You would eat it in a hurry. Go ahead.
It is the Lord's Passover.
It is the what?
It is the Lord's Passover.
And the Passover is in the Bible. Now, Easter is not in the Bible, man. Easter is not in the Bible, but the Passover is in the Bible. Now, the word Easter is in the Bible, but we're going to show you why that's in the Bible, and we're going to show you what that word is supposed to say with the references also. Go ahead.
For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night.
And the Lord said, this is the meaning of the Passover. because the Lord is going to cause the death angel to pass through the land of Egypt this night. Go ahead.
And will smite all the firstborn in the land.
And the Lord said he's going to pass through Egypt and kill all the firstborn. Go ahead.
In the land of Egypt.
In the land of Egypt. The firstborn of the Egyptians, everything was going to die. Their firstborn son, their firstborn cow, their firstborn this. All the firstborn in Egypt was going to die that day, man. If you was the firstborn child, you was going to die that day. If you're a parent and you was the firstborn, you're going to die that day. If your mother was the firstborn of her siblings, she was going to die that day. If your father was the firstborn of his siblings, he was going to die that day, man. Go ahead.
Both man and beast.
Both man and beast, man. Go ahead.
And against all the gods of Egypt,
go ahead.
I will execute judgment.
And the Lord's going to execute judgment. Judgment for what? For how they treated us, man. Judgment for how they oppressed us, for how they would beat us, for how they would enslave us, for how they would treat us. The Lord is going to execute judgment, man. And when we celebrate the Passover, we celebrating the Lord executing judgment on our enemies, man. That's what we celebrate when we're celebrating the Passover. Go ahead.
I am the Lord, and the blood shall be with you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And
that blood, nice, and you know what the blood on the doorpost is for? It's a token upon the houses where we was. Go ahead.
And when I see the blood, I will pass over you.
And when he sees the blood, he will pass over, man. Meaning the instructions is put the blood in your doorpost. I see that blood and okay, there's Israelites in there. I'm not going to harm them. I see the blood. I'm going to pass over that house. And then where's he going? To the houses where there's no blood. The houses where there's no blood, that angel's heading right there, man. Whereas earlier that day, you putting blood on your doorpost must have seemed crazy to everybody. Little did they know the blood on the doorpost is going to save your life, man.
Right.
Noah building the ark and it's never rained. People must have thought it was crazy. Little did they know this ark was going to save his life, man.
That's right.
People seeing the ISUPK and thinking we're crazy. Little do they know that the ISUPK is going to save our life, man.
That's right.
And the day is going to come when they're going to be knocking on the door saying, help us. We need this, we need that. The day is going to come. The same people that laugh and make a mockery and call us all these sorts of names, that day is going to come, man, where those same people is going to want our help, man, when they see that the Lord is with us. You need to be very careful when you mock the Lord's prophets, man.
Right.
Hold that, but give me 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 23 is, I believe. And Mama Sal, you get me Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7 or 7 and verse 6, one of them.
1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 23.
Yeah, I believe that's the one.
This is 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 23. Then King Solomon swore by the Lord, saying...
Nah, try 2 Kings.
Galatians, what?
It might be Galatians 6 and 7.
2 Kings chapter 2 and verse 23. And he went up from thence unto Bethel.
So now this is talking about Elisha, who was an older brother. Go ahead.
And as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city and mocked him.
So now there was mocking him, a prophet of God. Now at the time, Elijah has just left. And obviously this man's going through it because Elijah was like his spiritual father, his mentor. He asked Elijah, give me a portion of your spirit, man.
Right.
Because he knew Elijah was a righteous man. So imagine Elijah's just been taken away. And this man obviously is upset because Elijah's gone. So he's coming back now. Go ahead. And now there's children mocking him, calling him a bald head. Now, as you know, as you get older, you start to lose your hair. As you get older, you start to get male pattern baldness. And then what happens is your hair goes where the crown is around here. Your hair starts to go. And then what most people do, once it goes like that, they cut the rest off because why? You don't want to be walking around with the middle gun and hair around it. So most people, you can if you want. It's not unlawful, but most people just cut it off to make it even. So they seen his hair like this, and they was mocking him, a prophet of God, calling him a bald head. Go ahead.
And mocked him.
And what?
And mocked him.
And they mocked him, man. Go ahead.
And said unto him, go up, thou bald head.
So now they're calling him bald head. These children, go ahead.
Thou bald head. And he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of the Lord.
And he cursed them in the name of the Lord, man. You better be careful mocking the Lord's prophets, man, because the Lord will put you to death for it.
Right.
These men are working for the Lord, man.
Right.
You see, like how you get locked up for attacking a police officer. They don't care about the man who you've attacked. What they care about is it's a man in authority. It's a man of the law you're attacking, and the sentence is harsher. You attacking the prophets of God. They working for the Lord, man. Their mission is they're working for the Lord, and you're trying to stop the work of the Lord. Listen, man, the Lord will deal with you one day. Just think, when we at camp, this ain't us doing this in our spare time. This is us working for the Lord, man. This is us doing the work of the Lord. And you come up with your mockery trying to disrupt the work of the Lord. Listen, man, the Lord's just going to take you out one day. The Lord's going to let you know what, you distracting my prophets from doing their job. I'll just remove you out of the way. I'll just make you tire come off the vehicle on the motorway, man. I'll just make your plane come down when you're in it, man. I'll just make your boat sink when you're on that boat ride. And you're going to be saying, please, God, save me. Meanwhile, the men of God, you mock them, man.
That's right.
You mock the men of God, and now you're going to be begging God to save you, man. Good luck with that. You better not mock the prophets of the Lord. Go ahead.
And there came forth 2 she-bears.
And now he cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came 2 she-bears, man. 2 female bears. Go ahead.
Out of the wood, and tear 40 and 2 children.
And these bears came out of the wood and killed these 42 children, man. And this is why you need to teach your children. Don't mock the men of the Lord, man. If some of you grown-ups was taught this by your parents, you wouldn't be online talking nonsense, man. You wouldn't be online talking nonsense. Because listen, you can keep talking all that nonsense, but the day is going to come when you have to answer for it, man. The day is going to come when you have to answer for it. All these jokes people make online and on Facebook, the day is going to come when you have to answer for all them jokes, man. Listen, man, Kotazar, some of these people making jokes about us, I'd love to see them in person, man. I'm going to say, tell me them same jokes. I'm going to say, see if you can make me laugh in person. I'm going to say, you see those jokes you thought was funny online? Tell me those jokes to my face, man. See if I laugh. Listen, I guarantee I would never do this, man. I'm going to say, tell me these jokes in person and see if I laugh. People saying all of this. The ISUPK is a cult. The ISUPK is this. The ISUPK is that. Which makes no sense. My thing is this, man. When you're out there selling drugs, nobody says nothing to you, man. When you're out there being a criminal, nobody says nothing. But once you come to serve the Lord, everybody's got something to say. Once you come to serve the Lord, listen, man. A drug dealer that was in a gang said to me, oh, you want to be careful doing that. I'm thinking, damn, well, when I was doing whatever on the streets, no one told me to be careful. This is the place where black people keep all the laws of God, man. And they're mad at us for that. People in the world can't understand, man. And the thing is this, when people in the world say anything to me, I look at their lifestyle, man. Smoking cigarettes, drug addicts, alcoholics. How can you tell me anything, man? You're telling me to be careful. You should be careful, man. You're telling me the stuff that I'm doing ain't right. Listen, man. We serve the Lord. Everything that we do can be backed up biblically. Go ahead.
And tear 40 and 2 children of them.
And it came and it tore up 42 of these children, man. Why? Because they was mocking a prophet of God, man. You need to watch your mouth when you're talking about the Lord's sons and daughters, man. Because the Lord will come and visit you. That next cigarette you smoke might just give you cancer, man. You better watch your mouth when you're speaking about the Lord's sons and daughters. And some people have to learn the hard way, and they have to sleep, man. They have to sleep, and most of the time it's their own fault. Is there any more on that? Marcel, give me the one that you're holding, and take me back to Exodus 12. Go ahead, Marcel.
Galatians 6 verse 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked.
God is not mocked, man. Listen, man. You can say whatever you want. You can speak every idle word. The day is coming when you have to answer for it, man. The day is coming when that judgment is going to be at your door. The day is coming when the Lord's going to laugh at your calamity, man. The day is coming. And listen, man, you're going to stand before the throne of God and have to answer for all these things, man. You're going to have to answer for mocking the Lord's prophet, for speaking down on them, for belittling God's children. The day is coming, man. The Lord is not mocked. You think you're mocking us. You're mocking the Lord, and there's punishments for mocking the Lord, man. All I can say is you think you're mocking God, Lord be with you, it's not going to end well, man. Listen, life don't end well for a sinner. Though a sinner might live today and tomorrow, his life ain't going to end well. Though a sinner might live for years, his life ain't going to end well. You know why? Because who can escape the judgment of God? Nobody can escape the judgment of God, man. So all these people talking nonsense, leave them to it. Because no, one day they're going to fall into the hands of the Lord, man. And when they fall into the hands of the Lord, they're going to be dealt with by the Lord. So leave them to it. Let everybody say whatever they want to say. Let everybody speak and run their mouth and do whatever they want to do. But the day's coming when they have to fall into the hands of the Lord. Listen, we fear God and not men. You can say what you want about us. You can laugh about how we dress. You can laugh at us at camp. We fear the Lord way more than we fear you. There's nothing you can do to us, man. You're just some coward running your mouth. You're just some coward running your mouth. We fear the Lord who puts the work in and gets busy, man. We ain't scared. We don't care about your opinion. Go ahead.
This is 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 2. That you may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets.
Listen, man, read that one more time. Go up a verse.
Verse 1. The second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance, that you may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets.
Be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, man. We're reading in the book of Kings, words which were spoken by Elisha, man. They was mocking him. Be mindful, man. The same thing them prophets was doing back then is the same things we're doing right now, man. The same way the Lord protected them prophets back then is the same way the Lord protects us today. Don't get it mistaken, man. People also mock Jesus Christ and thought, yeah, it's all fun and games. And people mock us thinking it's fun and games. So lucky, where was we? Take back to Exodus. Where was we before we get into Easter?
Exodus chapter 12 and verse 10. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning.
And you wouldn't let nothing remain until the morning. Go ahead.
Go down to verse 11. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded.
And you'd have your loins girded, your war belt on. Go ahead.
Your shoes on your feet.
Your shoes on your feet. Why? Because when you have your shoes on, it means you're going out. Now, some people wear shoes in the house nowadays. Obviously, back then, you take them sandals off and all of those kind of things. Now, they had their shoes on. Why? Because they're ready to leave out Egypt. Go ahead.
Which remain above it until the morning.
Go ahead.
And your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
It is the what?
It is the Lord's Passover.
And this is the Passover, man. And that's what we celebrated last week, the Lord's Passover. Listen, we're still tired today. You quite as well. Listen, I've been sleeping ever since we came back. We came back yesterday. The work of the Lord don't stop. This is why we're in class today, man. Listen, we're still running on American time, jet lagged, half asleep. I fell asleep in the car on the way before I started doing the class, but the work of the Lord don't stop, man. No matter how tired we are, we have to be here, man. Read on. Listen, we take no days off. We don't let that stop us. Go ahead.
For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land.
And the Lord passed through Egypt, man, and smited all the firstborn in the land. Go ahead.
Of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
Go ahead.
And the blood shall be with you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you.
And the plague shall not be upon you. And this was the plague of death, man.
Right.
And right now, because we don't serve the Lord, we being plagued with death. We've been plagued with death throughout our communities. Why? Because we don't want to serve the Lord. Like back then, we would have been part of that plague of death if we didn't have the blood on our doorpost. Now we've been plagued with death. Why? Because we don't want to keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Maybe if we start keeping God's laws, we could live. It seems like we want to die. It seems like we like to die because we don't want to keep God's laws. Also, like I said, any questions, just type them in the chat and we'll get to them. Go ahead. And shalom to everyone in the chat. Any questions, we'll get to them. Go ahead.
Upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt, and this day shall be upon Salakia, and this day shall be unto you for a memorial. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial. So now, the Passover is a memorial for us, man. The Passover is a memorial for us. It's one of our first feast days, and it's our memorial. The reason why we don't eat with our stuff in our hands now and in haste and run out the door, why? Because this is what we done back in Egypt. Now it's a memorial. That's why we don't eat and in haste and run out the door, because it is a memorial, meaning we remembering what happened.
Now, when somebody dies, you have a memorial for them every year. It don't mean you go rebury them every single year. Every year you don't dig them up and rebury them again. But you have a memorial, and what do? You feast and you have a memorial remembering that person's life. We have our memorial what? Remembering what the Lord done for us in Egypt, man. Go ahead. That's why sometimes I hear lunatics say, so why don't you have your staff and eat in haste? Because it is a memorial, man. It's letting you know right here. We're not in Egypt no more, man. Who are we running from now? If we have our staff and our shoes on, where are we running to and who are we running from right now? It is a memorial. Most people don't understand that. Read on.
You shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations.
And it says, you shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout our generations. This is what we celebrate, man. The Passover. Christians celebrate Easter, and Easter is not in the Bible, man. But all throughout the Bible, what do I see? The Passover. I don't see Easter, though. Read on.
And ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
As for how long?
Forever.
This says we shall keep it forever, man. Forever we're supposed to keep this a feast. Go ahead.
7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread.
And now, this is what we're doing right now. The Feast of Unleavened Bread. The Feast of Unleavened Bread, which I'd say is the hardest one. Every time you forget, you open your Uber Eats app, you just Eats app, and you go to order something and you say, oh, I can't eat that. There's leaven in there. You can't eat no burgers. You can't eat no bread. This morning I had a fry with unleavened bread, man. Usually I have the toast. Or the dumpling, man. This morning I had a fry with unleavened bread. And be careful of, obviously, fish fingers, chicken nuggets, because those things have breadcrumbs on, so you can't have those. So in your fry, what you want to have is eggs, beans, turkey sausages. What else can you have? Eggs, beans, turkey sausages, mushrooms, all of those kind of things. Turkey bacon or whatever. But you want to stay away from chicken fingers and fish fingers because those have breadcrumbs, and obviously breadcrumbs has yeast in there. Go ahead.
7 days shall you eat unleavened bread.
And 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread, meaning you have to eat a piece of unleavened bread for 7 days. So we know what our ancestors did. So we feel how they felt. And then after a while, you start to get sick of unleavened bread, but you still have to eat it, man. After a while, you start to get sick of it and be like, damn, I'm glad that's over for a year. But we have to do these things, man. Go ahead. Why do we have to do these things? Why? Because it's a requirement of the Lord. Whether you like unleavened bread or not, it's a requirement of the Lord. Whether you're missing toast and Big Macs, you can't have those things, man. Why? Because it's a requirement of the Lord. The Lord said you eat unleavened bread, so that's what you do. Listen, man, the burgers ain't going nowhere, man. Junk food will always be here, man. The junk food will be here next week. Junk food will be here next week. Why? Because they want your money, man. So you don't worry about it. The Feast of Unleavened Bread ends Sunday sundown, man. And we also have a feast Sunday coming. The closing of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Give that a hand, man. We got the feast of the closing of Unleavened Bread, man. Coming down to that. We're gonna have that at what? 394 Lodge Road, B18 5PW. That's Sunday coming. The closing of the feast. The closing of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Go ahead.
Even the first day shall you put away leaven out of your house.
And you would have to put away leaven out of your house. Because why? If leaven was found in your house and the priest come knocking, they would assume you're using this leaven. So you couldn't have it in your house, man. The priest would come knocking, and if they seen leaven in your house, you as a dead man. Why? Because they would assume that you're using this leaven to make bread with. Go ahead.
For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
And you will be cut off, meaning you'll be killed, man. That soul would be cut off from amongst his people. Why? Because you're disobeying the Lord, you're eating leaven, whereas it's the Feast of Unleavened Bread, man. You can't have no leaven. The Lord takes it serious. To you, while it is, people in the world will minimize it and be like, you're really eating no leaven because the Bible says. What it is, that is a demon on them trying to attack you, man. The demon on them is trying to attack you to cause you to think light of the Lord, to cause you to think, you know what? It's kind of true. You can't be that serious. The Lord won't kill me for that. The demon on them is trying to get you to do something so the Lord kills you, man. Anybody trying to get you to go against the Lord has a demon on them. And you're just thinking this is a family member. And this demon knows, obviously, you love your family members. So what happens? This demon attacks people close to you to attack you. Because if this demon came up to you straight up like a demon, you're not going to listen to it. So what does it do? comes in the form of your mom, comes in the form of your father, comes in the form of your siblings and your best friends to do what? Attack you to get you out the truth, man.
Right.
To attack you, it does all of those kind of things. So what you have to think is, how come when I was out there being a criminal, my family never once stepped in and didn't say anything? Not one thing did they say. They allowed me to do all of these things. And now when I've come to serve the Lord, these same people who have no morals, when it comes to me serving the Lord, now they have morals and they're telling me I shouldn't serve the Lord.
Right.
You have to wonder why they're saying that. It's because the demons using them to get to you.
That's right.
And that's how life works, man.
Right.
These demons attack who you love to get to you. Now, if these demons can't get to you by cigarettes, what do they do? They attack one of your loved ones, and they know you love your loved ones, and they try and get your loved ones to get you to do something that you're not supposed to do. So you lose favor with the Lord. That's what they want, man. Anybody telling you to do something you're not supposed to do, you better distance yourself from them, man. Anybody telling you, yeah, just come smoke this spliff, it's only one hit, God don't mind. Distance yourself from them, man.
That's right.
Because they have a demon on them, and that demon's trying to attack you.
Right.
What you're supposed to do, you're supposed to check them, man. You're supposed to check them until that demon leaves them, man.
Right.
Don't let it. Listen, I've realized it's always people trying to convince us, but they don't want to be convinced by us. But every time they want to run their mouth about what we should and shouldn't be doing. Whereas the demon that they have, make sure that they don't listen to us, man.
That's
Whereas the spirit of the Lord that we have, we're supposed to use it and make sure we don't listen to them, man.
right.
We ain't supposed to be feeling you got a point. What you're saying makes sense. Everything they say is a lie. Nothing they say makes sense, man.
Right.
Listen, they've never said to you what you're saying makes sense, which means what? You're going to allow the demon that they have to be stronger than the spirit of the Lord that you have. We ain't supposed to do that, man. It's lucky I'm going way off topic. Go ahead.
For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
And if you ate leaven, you'd be cut off. Go ahead.
And in the first day, there shall be a holy convocation.
And in the first day, there shall be a holy convocation. So you have the Passover, then the day after you have the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And that is the holy convocation. And we keep all these laws. Most Christians don't even keep these laws, man. They celebrate Easter, something which is not in the Bible. They celebrate something which is not in the Bible, man. And then they want to run their mouth to us. Bear with me. We're going to get into Easter in a second. Just bear with me. Go ahead.
And in the seventh day, there shall be there shall be a convocation.
And then the seventh day shall be a holy convocation. And the seventh day is what? This Sunday coming up, man. Go ahead.
To you, no manner of work shall be done in them.
And no manner of work shall be done. When we was governed by ourselves, the whole nation would have the day off. But now we're governed by oppressors. You have to book these days off, and they still don't want to give you off.
Right.
Whereas when we govern by ourselves, the employees ain't going to be able to make you work on that day. Why? Because there's going to be priests in the city, man. And if they're making you work, the priest is going to want to know why you're working, man. And we're going to go to your employer, and you might never see your employer again, man.
Right.
You shouldn't be working on that day. Your employer knows every Israel. He would know. He would have you see how we have the feast day dates? Your employer would have them dates and know, okay, then all Israel's not working on these days. They have every Sabbath off. They have all these days off. Your employer would know this. But nowadays, our employer doesn't respect the Lord. Even in Egypt, Moses said, find that one for me, actually. Do you know where that one is, Marsad, the one that I'm talking about? Where Moses... Find the one where Moses said, let us go serve the Lord for 3 days.
Okay, that's fine.
It's in Exodus, maybe 6 or 7 somewhere, I believe. I know it's before this chapter. Read on Quatazar.
Save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you, and ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread.
And you shall what?
You shall observe the feast of unleavened bread.
And you should observe it and do it, man. And we in the feast of unleavened bread right now. Go ahead.
For in this self-same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt.
And the Lord's letting you know why we keep this. Why? Because he delivered us out of the land of Egypt. That's why we celebrate the Passover and unleavened bread. We had to leave Egypt in haste. So they took their kneading trowels and just put them in their backpack and got to moving. They didn't have time to put yeast in the bread to make it rise and make it nice. and put the little whatever you put in there to check that the bread's cooked properly on the inside. They didn't have time for none of that. They didn't have that time of luxury. They had to flee. Go ahead.
For in the self same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt.
All right, hold on. Marcel, did you find that one? Yeah, Marcel, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Verse 1. Exodus 8, verse 1.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it might be that one. Go ahead. Turn
And
it
the
down.
Lord spake.
Saki, go ahead, Marcel. I'm just turning the speaker down on my side.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, Go unto Pharaoh and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me.
Hold on one second, Marcel. Check the back and make sure that they say raising agents.
All right.
Because most of them probably has it in.
All right.
So lucky, go read that again. Read that again, Marcel.
Exodus 8, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, Go unto Pharaoh and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me.
He said, Let my people go that they may serve me. Listen, man, we wanted time off to go serve the Lord. You have to go put in a request with your slavery and they don't want to give it to you. These people don't want you to go and serve the Lord. And this is why the Lord has to take them out the way, man. They won't even allow us to serve our God in peace. We can only get 2 weeks at a time you can get. They don't allow us to go and serve our power in peace, man, when they should. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs.
And then they didn't let us go. And the Lord smited their borders with frogs. The Lord hit them with plagues, man. If these oppressors would let us go, then maybe their conscience would be better than it is. Because you treat black people like garbage in these countries, it's only right your country has to be destroyed and brought down to nothing, man. Don't think you're going to have a city that flourishes and you're treating the children of God poorly there. Now, Egypt was flourishing, and then the time came when it was time for them Egyptians to be destroyed. The time's coming when it's going to be time for these Europeans to be destroyed, man, because of how they treat the children of God. The time's coming when they're going to be destroyed the same way, man. And it lets you know this in Romans, the 9th chapter. The way they treat us is how they was treating us in Egypt. And the time's coming when the Lord's going to start to deliver those that be upon the earth, man. Those that serve him. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly.
And now these is the plagues that the Lord was bringing because they didn't want to let his people go, man. Listen, we had issues and all of these things, man. They was moving like they didn't want to let us through the airport. Listen, man. We're gonna get to the Passover, man. Whether we have to walk it, whether we have to fly a plane ourselves, we're going to get there, man. And there's people in your path that try to stop you from doing it. And the same thing in Egypt, they was trying to stop people from serving the Lord. And those people that they tried to stop, guess what happened to those people? They got destroyed in the end, them Egyptians, man. You think you can stop the work of the Lord? Listen, the work of the Lord is bigger than you, man. The Lord's Passover is bigger than you. The Lord's feast days is bigger than you. These heathens think they can stop them. It's not going to happen, man. All in the name of a business. Your business is going to be shut down, man. Your business is going to go bust. Why? Because you're oppressing the children of the Lord. The time's coming when you're all going to realize the people we've been treating like garbage, we must treat them good. You've been giving the Jewish man all the love and treating him like he's the children of God. The day's coming when you're going to find out who the real children of God is, man. We was walking through the airport with our shields on, yeah, the Edomites looking at us like we're not supposed to be wearing them, man. Looking at us like we're not supposed to be wearing them. In this world, you can be anything except a Jew. As a black man, you can be anything in life. The only thing you can't be is a Jew, man. According to them. You walk with a shield on, everyone's looking at you sideways, like, why has he got that on? Listen, man, this shield belongs to us, man. Everything you see us with belongs to us. Hold on, Mo, so I'll drop that. Let me get to...
If I could say something.
So I can say that again.
The verse that you wanted is Exodus 8, verse 27.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, get that one. Yeah, that's the one I wanted.
Okay. The book of Exodus 8, verse 27. We will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and
And all
sacrifice.
Moses wanted was for his people to have 3 days off, man. So they could journey into the wilderness, which wilderness just means uninhabited land where nobody lives. That's all it means. Anywhere which is desolate or empty, nobody lives there. That's considered the wilderness. Go ahead. There's no place called wilderness. Wilderness just means uninhabited land. Go ahead.
And sacrifice to the Lord our God, and he shall command
And nice,
us.
if we want to go sacrifice to the Lord our God, man. It's like when we go to the airport and say, "Why are you here?" Because I'm going to the Lord's Passover. And they start acting like they don't want to let you come through. The same issues Moses was having, man. Moses said, "Let us sacrifice to our God." And we say to them, "Let us go to the Passover." We had to ask in Egypt, and we have to ask in England, which lets you know this is Egypt all over again, man. This is slavery and oppression all over again. Go ahead.
Verse 28. And Pharaoh said, I will let you go, that ye may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness. Only ye shall not go very far away.
That's it. And that, but there was a verse where he didn't let you go. This must be later on, but there was one where he goes, why do you stop the people from their burdens? And then he started to beat the people. You know where that one is?
Let me see here. And Moses said,
he goes, why do you release the people from their burdens? Hold on, let me see. It might be about Exodus 5 or somewhere. So look at it again. Yeah, it should be. Hold on. No, I'm too wrong. Go to hold on. Go to verse 3. Exodus chapter 5 and verse 3. That's the one that I want.
Come on. Exodus 5 verse 3. Book of Exodus 5 verse 3.
Kanye, Exodus 5 and verse 3.
Exodus 5 verse 3. And they said, the God of the Hebrew had met with us. Let us go.
That's the God of the Hebrews have met with us. So that's our God is met with us, man. And when you find the truth, the Lord's met with you, man. Once you find the truth, the Lord's met with you, man. And when we're on the corners, that's not us speaking, that's the words of the Lord. Go ahead.
Let us go, we pray thee. 3 days' journey into the wilderness.
And they asked for 3 days' journey into the wilderness. Go ahead.
And sacrifice unto the Lord our God.
And they wanted to go sacrifice to the Lord because the Lord met with them and required the sacrifice. And they asked, can we just go for 3 days? Which shows how evil these Egyptians was, man. Imagine you just wanted 3 days off, you couldn't get it off. Listen, you try to get 3 days off from work, they barely want to give you off. They give you listen, they give you 28 days holiday a year. Imagine this. Let's say, hold on, let me calculate it. So you get 28 days holiday a year. So let's calculate that over. Hold on. So let's calculate that over 40 years. Over 40 years, during your work career, you only get 1,000 days off. Over 40 years, you only get 1,100. Remember that number quarters are 1,120. So now let's. So 300. So out of 14,600 days, you only get 1,000 days off. Out of 14,600 days, which lets you know, man, we slaves here, man. Imagine this. You have to beg for days off, and you can't even enjoy them days off. Why? Because work's in the back of your mind. Work is in the back of your mind, man. Go ahead, Marcel.
Lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword.
And they said, let us sacrifice to the Lord, lest he fall upon us with pestilence. Go ahead.
Oh, God. Verse 4. And the king of Egypt said unto them, wherefore do he, Moses and Aaron, let the people from their work,
And the king of Egypt said, why are you coming to me with this foolishness, man? The king of Egypt said, I need to make money, man. Why are you coming to me with this foolishness about you want the people to not work? If none of these slaves is working, my kingdom don't get built. If none of these slaves is working, them great pyramids don't get made, man. If none of them slaves is working, Egypt's not going to be a treasured city. All these great cities in Egypt is not going to get built by themselves, man. Why are you stopping the people from working about 3 days off? I need these treasured cities, man. And imagine these treasured cities that the children of Israel was building. They wasn't dwelling in them, man. They was building them for Egypt. All the buildings that we build in England and America, we don't dwell in them. We build them for our oppressors, man. The same thing we was going through in Egypt back then is the same thing we're going through right now. Go ahead.
Come on. Get you onto your burden.
He said, get you onto your burdens, meaning get back to work. They didn't want to give blacks and Hispanics no time off, man. They didn't want to give us 3 days off to serve the Lord. They said, get to your burdens, man. Meaning, I don't want to hear this foolishness about you want to go serve the Lord. Because why Pharaoh and them, they didn't respect our God, man. They didn't respect our God. So the Lord had to do something to them that made them respect him, man. He had to kill a ton of them, drown them in the Red Sea. There's still a history of relics and stuff which they found in the Red Sea. There's still chariot wheels and relics that they find in the Red Sea, which proves that they actually drowned in the Red Sea, man. But Egyptians don't like to tell you this history. Read on.
Verse 5, and Pharaoh said, behold, the people of the land now are many, and he make them rest from their burden.
So now he put more work on them. These people wanted to rest. He said, you're not going to rest. He's going to give them more burdens, more work to do, more work to do. Why? Because you're thinking about going away for 3 days. He's going to give you so much work that you ain't going to be thinking about going nowhere for 3 days, man. He's going to make your job harder because he's saying, you know what? You got time to think about going away for 3 days. Maybe you're not working hard enough. You've got free time to think about what you want to do. Maybe you're not working hard enough, man. You work for me, and all you should be thinking about is collecting straw. All you should be thinking about is making brick. All you should be thinking about is making these treasured cities. You're not meant to have space in your brain to think about anything else. You ain't supposed to have space in your brain to think about serving God. Your whole life is meant to be about work, work, work. And they gave you so much work that you can't even think about anything else. And that's what they do to us today, man. If you know anybody who's a teacher, damn, the school closes at 3, 4 o'clock and they're still working at home doing overtime, man. If you work one of them paperwork jobs, people clock off and they're still working after the clock, man. Why? Because the white man's the devil the Bible speaks of, man. He has you working 24/7. Shalom, has you working overtime, man. Has you working all these hours, man. Why? Because our oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. You can't have no freedom. All you have to do is work, 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 work. And go ahead, Marcel.
Verse 6, and Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmaster of the people and their officers, saying, ye shall no more give the people straw to make
And he said,
brick.
no more give the people straw. Why? Because the straw, they would use that straw to make brick. It made it a lot easier. He said, no more give the people straw, meaning now they have to find their own straw now. He was going to make their life hard. Why? Because they wanted to serve God. And when you want to serve God, these oppressors make your life hard, man. You want to serve God, so you say, can I have Saturdays off? They don't want to give you Saturdays off, man. You want to serve God, so you ask for more time off so you can study, so you can learn the laws of God. Your oppressor don't want to give it to you, man. Why? Because his business comes first. He wants his business to come before the Lord. That's why he don't want you to come to class or do nothing. Why? Because his business comes before the Lord, man. In his mind, he's thinking, you serving some black god somewhere ain't beneficial to him. You serving some black god somewhere ain't beneficial to him. He's thinking, you're supposed to serve me and my business, man. He wants you to worship and serve his business like his God. And the Lord wasn't having that, man. So the Lord plagued them. That's the Egyptians, man. And them Egyptians started dropping dead. Now you go to Egypt, now it's like a tourist site full of Arabs. You go there, now it's full of Arabs. You can't even find a real Egyptian there because the Lord destroyed them, man. To find a real Egyptian, it's like you have to look in one of these history books, man. You have to look in one of these on the walls and stuff to find a real Egyptian. And that's going to be like our oppressor, man. You're going to have to look at it. in the museum to find a picture of him soon. Read on.
As heretofore, let them go and gather straw for themselves.
He said, let them go do it themselves. I'm going to make their life extra hard. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And the tale of the bricks which they did make heretofore, ye shall lay upon them. Ye shall not diminish aught thereof.
So now, the amount of work they was doing before with the straw, now they want that same amount of work completed without the straw. And you will find after furlough, 4 people's jobs, now they've got rid of 3 and they want 1 person to do that same amount of work. After lockdown, they've lowered the amount of employees, but they want the same amount of work completed. Like the oppressor is the devil, man.
Right.
He expects you to do stuff that is impossible. He expects 1 man to do 5 people's jobs. And the oppressor done that right here when he took the straw away. He wanted them to do overtime and work extra hard. Go ahead.
For they be idle before.
He said, what? For they be idle? Meaning they was thinking about serving the Lord. And he said, we can't have you serving God, man. We can't have you doing this. So now he's took away the straw so they can no longer be idle. He's saying you're not working hard enough. You're thinking about serving something else and not doing the jobs. So now he's took away the straw. And in their mind, that means you can't be idle no more because you have to work twice as hard. Go ahead.
Therefore, they cry, saying, let us go and sacrifice to our God.
And then he's mocking them, saying, damn, they said, let us sacrifice to our God. Take the straw away and let them do some work. What they're talking about is nonsense. It's idle words. Let them go do some work. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Let their more work.
Let them more what?
Let them more work.
Listen, man, and this is what they do. They give us more work, man, because they want the work of the Lord to stop, so they give us more work. They give more work and more work and more work. Why? Because they want the work of the Lord to be stopped. Go ahead.
Let their more work upon them, that they may labor therein.
Go ahead.
And let them not regard vain words. Verse 10. And the taskmaster of the people went out, and their officers, and they spake unto the people, saying, Thus saith Pharaoh, I will not give you straw.
And Pharaoh said, I'm not going to give you straw, man, because he was making it harder. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Go ye get your straw where ye can find, yet not aught of your work shall be diminished. Verse 12. So that people were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt to gather stubble instead of
now they're starting to look. Now they're starting to look for these things to get the straw. Now they're starting to get the straw. Go ahead. While looking for it.
Verse 13. And the taskmaster hasted them, saying, fulfill your work.
Taskmaster is asking them, man, saying, yo, do your work, man. You're behind. Because why? The king of Egypt said the work cannot diminish. He wanted the same amount of work done without the straw. So now these people are used to doing it with straw. Now they have to do the same amount of work without straw, which is impossible. Go ahead. And they done this. They done this knowing it was impossible. Go ahead.
Your daily task, as when there was straw.
Go ahead.
Verse 14. And the officers of the children of Israel, which Pharaoh taskmasters has set over them, were beaten.
So they began to start beating the people. They began to start beating blacks and Hispanics, man. Go ahead.
And demand, wherefore have you fulfilled your task in making bricks, both yesterday and today? And
then they started to beat the people, man. And then asking them, why ain't you done your work? Why ain't you produced the brick that you're supposed to produce? Go ahead.
As heretofore. Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried unto Pharaoh, saying, wherefore deal with us, with thy servants?
And now the people are crying to Pharaoh, saying, why are you dealing with us like this? Like, this is us. We always cry to the oppressor, man. When they kill us, what do we do? March, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. They went crying to Pharaoh, man. Go ahead.
Verse 16. There is no straw given unto thy servants, and they say to us, make bricks. And behold, the servants were beaten, but what failed in thine own people.
So now they said the folks not on our side, this on your side, you've gave us no straw. The crying saying we're doing our work, but it's hard because there's no straw. Read on, I need to get to my topic. So lucky, go ahead.
And verse 17. But he said, ye are idle, yea, ye are idle. Therefore, ye say, let us go and do sacrifice unto the Lord.
And now the Egyptians are saying you're idle. You're talking about sacrificing unto the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 18. Go therefore now, work for thee, for there shall no straw be given you, yet shall he.
Jump down to verse 21 for time's sake.
Verse 21. And they said unto them, the Lord looketh upon you.
So now these are the people going to Moses. Now imagine this. The Egyptians are the one beating them. And they're not mad at the Egyptians. They're mad at their brothers, man. And this happens every single time. This oppressor does these things to us. He does something. He's the cause of everything and what happens. We be mad at our own people. Like when we at camp, black people are scared that, what you're doing is going to cause all of us to get in trouble. It's like slavery. If one man ran away, guess what the white man would do? Beat everybody else that didn't run away. And then what would you do? You would blame the black man that ran away. It's because of you why we got beaten. Not realizing the white man didn't have to beat you, man. It's a tactic that they use. It's a tactic that they use to make you hate your brother, man. It's a tactic that they use to make you be complacent and stick underneath them. Imagine one black man runs away. Why? Because he don't want to be oppressed no more. And then a white man comes and beats you and burns down your plantation. And then you blame that black man that burnt down our plantation because he ran away. They beat us because he ran away. The reason they beat you and burn down your plantation is because the white man is the devil. The Bible speaks of, man. You're trying to blame your brother. It's not his fault. It's their fault, man. They didn't have to beat you, but they did beat you. If there's anyone you should blame, it should be them, man. If there's anyone these people should blame, it should be the Egyptians, because they're the ones that took the straw and they're the ones that was beating the people. Moses didn't beat them. What Moses tried to actually do is save them. And now they're coming to Moses saying it's because of you why this happened. And black people do this all the time. Read on.
Because ye have made our servant to be abhorred in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servant, to put a sword in the hands to slay us.
Now they're blaming Moses. Go ahead.
Verse
Salakia,
22.
sir, if I may, sir.
Go ahead.
Sorry, what chapter and verse are we at, sir?
Exodus chapter 5. Go ahead, Marcel. Exodus 5 and verse 22.
Yes.
And
Moses returned unto the Lord and said, Lord, wherefore art thou so evil, entreated this people? Why is it that thou art sent me?
And Moses said, damn Lord, man, why did you send me to these people and you entreating them this evil? I thought you was going to save them, but you allowed them to be beat. Moses came to the Lord and asked why, and now the Lord's going to explain to him why he done it. And what the Lord's doing here is, listen, man, the oppressor beats us till this day. And what is the Lord trying to show us when the oppressor's beating us? Showing us that we should separate from him, man. The Lord's showing us that we should separate from him. Every time the oppressor beats us, that's supposed to make us say, I'm staying away from him, man. That should make us want to be separate from them every time they beat one of us. But instead, we try to join them, man. They're going to keep on beating us until we get the message. Us in here, we got beaten enough and we got the message and joined the ISUPK, man.
That's right.
We got beat by them devils enough that they pushed us into this very building we're in right now, man.
Right.
They pushed us into the home of the truth that we're in right now because they beat us enough. And we realized that they can't save us, man.
Right.
We realized that they can't save us and they harm us. We realized that picking up weapons ain't the way. So what do? We take every black man off drugs, man.
That's right.
We take every black woman off drugs.
Right.
Raise these children. Raise our families. That's what we do, man.
That's right.
We destroy the oppressor that way, man. Why? If we take care of our sons and our daughters, what does that mean? One less black man in jail, man.
Right.
One less black man running around like a lunatic with a pistol. We raise our children, man. Keep them out of them jails. Read on, Marcel.
Verse 23. For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in thy name. He hath done evil to this people, neither art thou delivered thy people at all.
It said since of came, you've neither delivered the people, but worse has been happening to them. Go ahead.
Verse 6. So I think is that done there?
Yeah, go ahead. Give me verse 6 and 1.
Correct. Verse 6 and 1. Then the Lord said unto Moses, Now shalt thou see what I will do to Pharaoh.
And the Lord said, Now you're going to see what I'm going to do to Pharaoh. Listen, man, the Bible says be patient, man. The Bible says be patient. Though we are pressed on what we're going through right now, we are about to see what the Lord is going to do to our oppressors, man. We just have to be patient. And here, these people needed to be patient, man. The Lord said, Now you're going to see what I'm going to do to Pharaoh. Go ahead.
For with a strong hand he shall let them go, and with a strong hand shall he drive them out of his land.
And now the Lord said, with a strong hand, he's going to let you go, man. Meaning the Lord hardened his head so they wouldn't let us go. And the Lord hardened their head and destroyed them, man. And said, you know what? I'm going to take my time with these people. I'm going to show my power, man. The Lord showed us his power. Every time we were scared of Pharaoh, thinking, oh, he's going to kill us, what did the Lord do? Stopped him in his tracks, man. We were scared of Pharaoh, like, damn, you're going to kill us? The Egyptians are on our tail in their chariots. The Lord drowned them bastards, man. Excuse my French. The Lord plagued them, slaughtered them, and the Lord showed his power that day, man. Let me get into my topic real quick. Hold on. So let's go into Easter symbols. Give me 1 second. Are any of you able to read that from there? Hold on 1 second. I gotta make it big on the stream, y'all. Give me 1 second. Hold on, wait a minute.
Easter traditions and symbols, yeah?
Can you see it clear from there?
Quran can't, sir.
Oh, damn, you got a good eyesight for water. Go ahead.
Can you bring it in a bit more? That was you just went out and made it smaller. It's there. It's just a bit smaller. I can read it.
Give me 1 second. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can. Oh yeah, that's the one. That better.
All right.
This is smaller.
Yeah, you made it small. It was bigger, but it's fine. Easter traditions.
Give me 1 second. Give me one. While it is they've changed the StreamYard. Give me 1 second.
That's better. That's better.
What about this one?
Khan. That's better, sir.
No son of Christ. Go ahead.
Khan. Easter traditions and symbols have evolved over time.
So now Easter traditions and symbols have evolved over time. So we're going to get you some of the stuff where they say it comes from. And then after we'll get where it comes from. Go ahead.
Though some have been around for centuries.
And some have been around for centuries. Some have been around from the time of the Sumerians and all of them things. From this God was called a different name. Some of these things have been around from then. And then over time, languages change and names change and deities change. And they just keep the customs and just change the name of what the original thing was. Go ahead.
Khan. While to Christians, Easter is a celebration of the resurrection of Christ.
So
many
now
Easter traditions
celebrate this as the resurrection of Christ, whereas Christ and Easter eggs have nothing to do with each other. Christ and Easter have nothing to do with each other. They were celebrating Easter way before Christ existed, man. Read on.
Khan. Many Easter traditions are not found in the Bible.
Wait, many Easter traditions are what?
Many Easter traditions are not found in the Bible.
It says many Easter traditions are not found in the Bible. So why do we celebrate Easter if many of its traditions are not found in the Bible? None of its traditions are found in the Bible. Why? Because it's nothing to do with the Bible. What you will have is there was a man called Constantine who was a pagan, converted to Christianity, I believe by his mother Helena or whatever her name is. He became a Christian, and what did they do? All the pagan practices, they tried to mix with their religion, Christianity. Now, they didn't change the Bible. They just incorporated their customs and said, yeah, on this day, this is how we're going to celebrate it. On this day, this is how we're going to celebrate it. And in order for the Romans that were pagans to keep their traditions, but he wanted them to be Christians, what did he do? You can keep your traditions. We can keep our traditions, but we're going to call it a different name. So really, all these things is old pagan things that they've just changed the name on. So read on.
Quran Khan, the most prominent secular symbol of the Christian holiday, the Easter Bunny, was reportedly introduced to America by German immigrants who brought over their stories of an egg-laying hare.
So now, what does Christ dying have to do with an egg-laying hare? These is customs that people brought over. That's where the Easter eggs and the Easter bunny and all of that comes from.
That's right.
It comes from an ancient worship of their so-called god of fertility and all of those kind of things. Hold on, give me a second, 1 second. Sean, Lord of Christ. Yeah, economy in class now. Give me a call after 9 and I'll go into fear. All right, then. Shalom, Lord of Christ. Lord of Christ. Slaki, go ahead.
The decoration of eggs is believed to date back to at least 13th century.
Listen, man, the decoration of eggs is believed to date back to at least the 13th century. Now, which lets you know when Christ died, they wasn't decorating no eggs. They weren't decorating eggs. Now, the reason they also have eggs is why? Because during Lent, which is a Catholic holiday, eggs was forbidden during Lent. So now they decorate eggs and eat eggs. They used to decorate boiled eggs. And that's why at school, why do you think you decorate the eggs at school? All of these is pagan customs, man. All of these is customs where here it says Germans brought over to the Americas. But people celebrating this way back in the days, man. From the Akkadians and the Sumerians and the Assyrians, all of those kind of people, man. They celebrated all these things in different ways. Go ahead.
Quran Khan.
What's it called? Is it called the Easter Egg Parade?
Quran Khan, sir.
Is that the name of it? Oh, yeah, that's the name. Easter Egg Parade, where in school, whoever has the best decorated boiled egg wins. All of these things is traditions which is not in the Bible, man. Go ahead, read on.
Quran Khan, while the rite of the Easter parade has even older roots, other traditions, such as Easter candy, are among the modern additions to the celebration of this early springtime holiday.
And it's around springtime. And when did they worship Ishtar? Around the springtime. When did Constantine want them to celebrate Easter? Around the springtime, man. Which is letting you know this pagan holiday is all linked. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Now we're going to see where the Easter bunny comes from. Let's see if the Easter bunny is in the Bible. Go ahead.
I can't see anything else, Salakia. Yeah, it needs to be come up a little bit. There.
Hold on 1 second. Can you see it?
Quran Khan, sir.
Is it clear to you or?
Quran Khan.
Oh, all right, most time, Chris. Go ahead.
Yeah, Easter bunny. Where did the Easter bunny come from? The Bible makes no mention of the long-eared, short-tailed creature who delivers decorated eggs to well-behaved children on Easter Sunday.
Well, now it says the Bible makes no mention of a long-eared, short-tailed creature who delivers decorated eggs to well-behaved children on Easter Sunday. That's nowhere in the Bible. That is nowhere in the Bible where an Easter bunny delivers eggs to children. All of these is pagan customs, man, along with Christmas, birthdays, Easter. All of these is pagan customs, which is nowhere in the Bible. Go ahead.
Quran Khan. Nevertheless, the Easter bunny has become a prominent symbol of Christianity's most important holiday. The exact origins of this mythical mammal are unclear, but rabbits, known to be prolific procreators, are an ancient symbol of fertility and new life.
And it read that again. This is what?
The exact origin of this mythical mammal are unclear, but rabbits, known to be prolific procreators, are an ancient symbol of fertility and new life.
And they have these things. Why? Because if you know anything about Ishtar, I believe she was considered the goddess of fertility. She was the goddess of fertility. So that's why they have those things. Go ahead.
Quran Khan, according to some sources, the Easter Bunny first arrived in America in the 1700s with German immigrants who settled in Pennsylvania and transported their tradition of an egg laying hare called Osterhays or Osterhors.
So now it was transported their tradition of an egg laying hare called Osterhays. Now that name, there was the name of it was it comes from the name. The original name it was pronounced Easter, so it was spelled Eostre. So that was the proper name. It was called. Hold on, we'll get it afterwards. Let me just see if there's any more on this that I want. Give me 1 second. So now let's type in that name. This is how they spelt it. A British monk. They claim a British monk came up with it. Hold on. So Eostre is a goddess. Is everything still on the screen, Haki, or does it come off?
You need to scroll it down, sir, if you could. Okay. Oster Wikipedia.
Go ahead.
Oster, Proto-Germanic Osto is a West Germanic spring goddess.
So now the bunny, the name of the bunny and so forth, all of these names come from what? A spring goddess. A spring goddess. And why? And why did what's his name? Constantine want Easter in the spring? Why? Because they worship their goddess in the spring. Is it coming full circle to you now, Haki? I know a lot.
I can see. What do you mean by full circle, sir?
As in, you understand what I'm saying?
Khan, sir. Yeah, Khan, sir.
So the reason why Constantine wanted this celebration in the spring is because they worship this god in the spring. So now, if any of the other feast days was in the spring, he probably would have used that one, but he used this one and said, you know what? This is how we can tie them both in. And they've tied them in, and Christians have fell for it. So the name is Eostre, where this over time means Easter. You see how it looks similar to Easter. So go ahead. The name is Easter, but over time the name's changed. So it's the same Greek goddess. Go ahead, read on.
Khan. The name is reflected in Old English. Is it Eastery?
That's basically Easter.
Right. Northumbrian dialect, Eastro.
So now different dialects was worshipping the same god. They was just calling her different things. Some would say Easter, some would say Ostro, some would say Eastro, some would say Eastre, some would say Astare, and all of those kind of things. Someone would say all of those kind of things. They're worshipping the same god with a different dialect. Now later on, we're gonna go into what the name first started off as, because the name didn't start off as Easter. So we'll get what the name started off as in the beginning. Go ahead.
Khan. Eastro, Mercian, and West Saxon dialects. Eastro or Eastry, Old High German.
So now this is letting you know in different languages how they break it down, how they use the name. Different languages obviously say different things. Go ahead.
Khan. Ostra, an Old Saxon. Asteron, by the way of Germanic month bearing her name. I can't see no more of the one. So like, yeah.
Go ahead.
I can't see no more of the one. So like, yeah.
Can't see no more.
Can't. Yeah. I need to press the see more button.
Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Khan.
You know what? I don't think it's you. I think it's the. Wait a minute. I think the stream, half of it's disappeared off the thing. Hold on. Let me remove that one. Hold on. You know what? We'll drop that one for now. What we're gonna get now is. Hold on. Why is it gone small like that? Something ain't. All right. Let me stop sharing that. All right. So yeah. Okay then. All right. So now what I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna get the we're gonna get the original name. So obviously everybody knows the name was Ishtar, but before it was Ishtar, the name was, hold on, the name was like, it was a Sumerian god. So let me see if you can screen share this. So everyone knows Ishtar because that's the more famous name. But before that, the name was like some Inanna or whatever. All right, let me know if you can see this, Hakayan. Can you see that on the screen?
La'a, sir.
You can't see it.
La'a.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me go on
I
YouTube
can
and
see it now, though. I can
I
see
can see it.
something now.
What's it
Trying
say?
to-
What's it say? What you can see? What can you see?
It says in Anna, and then it goes this article is about ancient
Oh yeah, come, that's the right one. Hold on.
Meso-
Yeah, hold on. Let me go to it. Go ahead.
This article is about an ancient Mesopotamia goddess. For other uses, see in Anna. Right. Okay.
And she was worshipped by the Sumerians. So now the Sumerians lived what? South of Mesopotamia. And that's where today, that's Iraq. So they lived in South Iraq. Go ahead.
Wow.
So now them Iraqis, in South Iraq, the Sumerians, they worshipped Inanna. Go ahead.
Quran Khan. Inanna is an ancient Mesopotamia goddess of love, beauty, war, and fertility.
So now she's the god of war, beauty, and fertility. Go ahead.
Quran Khan. She is also associated with sex, divine law.
She's associated with sex, and that's why they have the rabbit. Because why? Rabbits are associated with sex. Don't you hear people say, "Oh, they eat like rabbits"? So that's why they have the rabbits, because she's associated with all of those kind of things. Go ahead.
Quran Khan. Divine law and political power.
Go ahead.
She was originally worshipped in summer under the name Inna.
In Samaria. Go ahead.
Quran Khan. And later by the Akkadians, Babylonians.
And now the Akkadians, they was from North Mesopotamia, so they lived in like North Iraq. And then these Akkadians, there was a man called Sargon the Great, who was the ruler of the Akkadian Empire. They lived in central Iraq. And what he done is he conquered Samaria.
Shalom, so Lord and Christ. It's blank. La'asa, like, did your lights go out or something? Can't. The class is what, Salaki, as well?